Welcome to the Rad Conversations podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of Rad Conversations. This week with author and experiencer Stephanie Peters with us. And she wrote the book, A Past Life Bleed Through. Now this is part 2 of her amazing experience on how one chance encounter triggered past life memories, a dark night of the soul, and a powerful awakening through shamanic healing and poetry. This isn't just about love. It's about a connection beyond time itself. All that and more coming up on this episode of Rad Conversations. And remember, if you enjoy the show, please like, subscribe, and share. All right, let's pick up where we left off. Stephanie, if you could time travel, do you think you could be happy during that time?
I mean, my answer to that would be clearly I've done it before. So I think if you picked me up from here and you dropped me in there, I would remember things I don't remember now, and I would make that adjustment because I did that. I like that muscle memory. Like if you haven't ridden a bike in 20 years, but you plop yourself on a bike, you remember how to ride that bike. Even if you don't remember it sitting here, when your behind is on that seat and those pedals go, you're like, oh yeah, I got this. I feel like if you were to pick me up and you were to drop me in that world, I might be hesitant at first, but then my memories, my mind would kick in and I would know exactly what I needed to do because I was there.
But does he look the same now?
I think we both look very similar. Yes. I think we both look very similar. I think I was a little smaller then. I'm like 5'9" now and like 160 pounds. So, I mean, I'm like, I'm a larger person. I was a little bit smaller then. And I think he was a little bit smaller then as well. But I think we're probably comparable. Like, I don't think I was teeny tiny then either.
Okay. And but was there a mirror in the house so you saw yourself, or you just feel like you looked similar?
I don't remember seeing a mirror. I just I just kind of know like there's a vision of me. Like this right here, this is one of the things I always wore braids. And so I've never worn braids in this life ever, but through this process, I've become attracted to braids. And I wore braids then, like my vision of myself. And like sometimes I've seen myself like through his eyes, if that makes sense. Like I'm standing there, but I can see him looking at me and I can see what he sees. And so, yeah, like, I mean, I don't remember him. I don't have a memory of a mirror. I'm not going to say there wasn't one there, but I don't have a memory of a mirror, but I do have kind of like almost a vision of looking down on ourselves of what we look like. And it's very, his eyes, like when I struggle to look at his eyes because I see beyond.
Stephanie, have you heard that there's no such thing as time?
Yes.
And that it's not linear?
Yes, very much.
Everything's happening right now. You guys are in that relationship right now. It's just in a different time and place.
In a different field, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So do you feel like that's why it's so strong? Because it's happening right now and you're able to tap into that?
I mean, I don't know. That's definitely a thought that I toy with in my head. This whole time concept is like another one of those things that's like fairly new for me, because when I do like the traveling and I have these visions and these memories, they feel so now. They feel so now. Or when I see somebody sitting somewhere because I've traveled to see them or whatever, I mean, I'm not there, but I am there, but I'm not. It's a very confusing thing for me. And, I mean, I can definitely say like, yeah, I can kind of see where I don't know the answer, but I can definitely find what you say rational, right? Like maybe to someone else it's irrational, but I can find that statement. Yeah, I mean, I can find that rational. Do I know for a fact? I don't know anything anymore for a fact. So
exactly. I mean, and I was just having this discussion the other day, like reality. Like what is reality? And I don't think there's any kind of concrete reality anymore. I think your reality is totally different than my reality. It's totally different than your husband's. Even though you guys have been together 30 years, you're still living two different realities.
I actually just wrote a poem the other day called Am I Crazy? And in the poem, one of the things I said is, what is reality? I mean, what that is all relative. What is reality? I mean, I just, and so, yeah, that was actually a poem that just came to me the other day. Like I said, I don't I don't sit down and say I'm going to write. I'm sitting here doing whatever I'm doing, and like 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, and I have a poem. And 99% of the time, I hardly change them at all. They come out the way they come out. What I might do is structure the lines. I might change a word here or there, or add punctuation, but the way they verbal vomit, 99% of the time, that's exactly how I leave it.
So before all this happened, were you into poems at all?
Yes and no. What's ironic or what's interesting is my birthday's March 2nd, which is supposed to be Dr. Seuss's birthday, so I find that kind of interesting. But I've always liked poetry. I've always been attracted to poetry. I've never been able to write poetry. As a little kid, we had these childcraft books, the orange encyclopedia childcraft books, and there were poems in there, and I would read them over and over and over. You know, and I've always liked like Shel Silverstein and Dr. Seuss. I've always liked poetry. I was a pre-K and a special ed teacher. That was my first career. So I mean, I've always found poetry attractive. I've never been able to write poetry. And if I tried, which I did try sometimes, I sucked. It was like pulling teeth. It was like, this is stupid, you know. So yeah, I've always had an attraction to poetry. My mom's always, you know, when I was younger, she's passed now, but my mom always read poetry to me more so than books, you know, more so than stories. So I've always liked it. It's always, but I almost feel like
around you.
I almost feel like that was a foreshadowing.
So like when you were having these memories of your past life, you were writing poems back then too?
I believe so. I never had a memory or a vision of writing poems back then. That's not any of the visions or memories I have, but I believe that's where they're coming from. I believe, you know, that's the her. I believe that's where they're coming from, because like I said, I don't say, you know what, I'm going to sit down and write a poem. That's not what happens to me.
And the poems that you're writing now, are they current, or could they have passed for back then too? Like you're like, this is kind of old-timey writing.
I think it's a mixture thereof. I think some of the poems that I wrote now were poems that maybe I wrote back then in my grief back then, when I was in that really, really, really dark place. Some of those poems are really dark. And I think that the darkness wasn't here. Because like I said, I drove past the house to try to convince myself, and no matter how much logic I tried to apply, his car moved, he's alive, what are you doing? You're crazy, stop, you know he's alive. There was a side of me that said he absolutely is not, you know, and it just felt like multiple personality disorder. So I do think that those poems definitely, there are some that were definitely from that.
You driving by the house, it's so interesting, and I don't know if it's happened before for you, but like there's a couple times in my life I'm like, I am just compelled to go do something, and I'm like, this is not what I should be doing right now. You know, I almost got myself fired from a job, but I was like, I could not stop.
Competitive is a good word, like robotic. Like there were times, I'm driving down the road, and next thing I know, I'm driving past, and I'm like, how the flip did I get, what? And as I'm driving away, I'm evaluating my sanity. I'm like, you're not 16. What the heck? What are we doing? You know, but that also just added to the kind of insanity. Like but then I would just feel that darkness, that wave, that darkness that just said, you know, he's dead, he's gone, get over it, move on, you know, he's not here, you lost him, just screaming at me, you know. And it was like, it's like the little, you know, and I went dark. I checked out. I went, you know, and a lot of my poems, but I still methodically went through my life, right? Like I'm the strong one. I went to work. I did what I have to do. I smiled in front of people. I took care of my tasks. And that's one of the poems that I wrote was about, you know, the strong ones. You never know. You don't know, because they're not going to let you know.
And how many poems do you think you've written now?
Has to be a couple of hundred. I'm working on book 2 already. So.
And what's the name of the first book?
So
that
the
people can
first
find?
book is a past life bleed through. I can't even say it. A collection of poems chronicling my journey. The next one is going to be called Where Alignment Begins, and I'm putting that one together now. So yeah.
And so, like the poems, you'll get a poem in your head, and do you have to pull the car over and write it right then, or
Yes.
you'll forget it, or it will just keep
Yes.
replaying in your head
A
until
little bit
you
of
get it
both.
out?
A little bit of both. Sometimes I can forget bits and pieces of it. I don't remember the whole continuum. But sometimes the whole thing will play over and over in my head, and it won't shut up, and it won't stop, and it won't quit. And so, yeah, like we'll be at the grocery store, and I'm like, stop. And I get my phone, and so, I mean, he's used to it now, because it's been like 4 years of this. This has been a long journey. This started in 2021.
So do you ever go, man, that was a good one? Do you ever impress yourself with these poems? I mean, they're all good, don't get me wrong, but do you like some more than others?
For me, it's more about how I emotionally connect to them. So it's not so much about, oh, that was a good poem. It's more like, I really feel that. That really hit me hard. Like, I really feel that. So it's more of an emotional connection than because the poem itself might not be that great. I don't know. They haven't been published yet. I mean,
they're all wonderful.
Yeah. It's more about like that hit, like that, like, how you ever heard like quotes, and then some quotes just go, but then other quotes you're like, ooh, that hit. So it's more like that. It's more about where I have a poem about suicide. I still struggle to this day to read that poem. I'll get teary-eyed.
Does the book have an overall theme to it, or is it just...
So the overall theme is just really the chronicling of my journey. So it goes from the beginning until where I started a healing journey. I wouldn't say that I finished, because I'm still there. I still have struggle bus days. I still have struggle bus moments. I still have memories. They have not stopped. They still come.
They're still flashing to you.
Yes. Yes. And I can feel this person. I mean, I can feel this person. I can feel them. There are times where something happens to me, like say I get a really bad stomach ache. It's not mine. I don't know how to describe it to you. I just know. Know it's not mine. It's not mine. Or I'll get a really deep, dark feeling in the middle of the night. It's not mine. There's a connection there that I can't explain. And I still struggle with it because it doesn't fit this world. It's not allowed in this world, but it's there. And I don't know what to do with it. I've had what they call cord cutting sessions.
And could you explain that to everybody?
So there's what they call cord cutting sessions, and they believe that you share cords with, it's almost like a quantum entanglement type theory. And they believe that you share cords with people, and that you have free will to cut these cords, that you're not obligated by these cords, that you can cut these cords. I've had cord cutting sessions, and I became very physically ill in a couple of them. Very physically ill. I literally, in one cord cutting session, I doubled over in pain. I felt like my uterus had chains wrapped around it, and somebody was trying to pull it out with like a Hemi,
Wow.
And I was literally doubled over, snot just dripping out my nose, spit dripping out my face, like I could not breathe. And I was like, just stop.
Is this under hypnosis, or is this just...
No, it's kind of like, it's in a meditative state, and it's called a cord. If you want to look it up, it's called a cord cutting ceremony. I had another cord cutting ceremony where the lady stopped and said, this is a divine cord. You're not cutting this. There's some purpose to this cord, and this cord is not going to be cut until the purpose is met, and the purpose is not met. And that was probably my last... I think that was my last cord cutting session. And I quit. I gave up. I mean, I have come, my shamans tell me this isn't true. I don't know that I believe this anymore. I've come to the conclusion, I'm like, when is this going to stop? When am I going to be free? And they're like, well, you're going to be free when you want to be free. You free yourself. I don't know that I believe that. I mean, I don't know, like, cause I'm trying so very hard, And I don't know what the answer is. I'm still mid-journey, so it's kind of hard to give concrete answers when I'm mid-journey and I'm still, somewhat on the struggle bus. I got 1 foot on and 1 foot off.
And, I mean, is this what true love is, Stephanie?
I think this is what... I think this is what 5D unconditional love is. Yes, I think this is not 3D love, not like romantic, kind of sexual romantic love. I think this is like bigger. Like this is soul. This is something connected to your soul that's bigger than all of us. I believe that when we pass over, we have a soul group and we love everybody in our soul group, and so I think it's but I think the problem is, the struggle is it doesn't fit in this 3D world. Because in this 3D world, if you're married and then you're married and then that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't venture out. And if you venture out, that's taboo. You don't do that. So I think, when I think about, because people, or you have a task, you have a journey, or you have a job, there's something you need to learn. And so it's like some of the conclusions or the conversations I have with myself is, I have to learn to let go and still love. I have to learn to love and not be in that space, right? Not have that relationship. But these are some of the things that I have in my own head that I converse with myself is, what's the job? Why was this person put in front of you? Because nothing's coincidence. He's put in front of you when you're married. He's put in front of you way younger than you, right? You just don't have relationships with that. Like, why? There's something I'm supposed to get out of this.
It's so interesting you say that, because you hear about people that have near-death experiences and they go into the afterlife and they go, the love over there is nothing like the love over here. So if you're actually tapping into the love over there, that's so interesting that's possibly what's going on here, that you don't have that filter that the rest of us do, and you have the main line going right to the soul family. And do you feel like if you weren't married, you would be pursuing a relationship with this guy? Okay, so it's good that you are married, so you're not going up and down.
But I think a relationship with him would be a disaster for more reasons than one. Number one, the age range. Okay, number one, the age range. And then number two, I think there's an intensity between us, a dynamic between us. One of the things that I told my shamans is, in one of our sessions, one of the things I said was, he's triggered so many things in me, and he's made me go so deep into myself. And I told him, I said, my husband doesn't do that. See, my husband doesn't, he's such a calm, he's such a peace, he's such the relaxing creek in the middle of the storm, that he doesn't trigger anything. If I need him to bend, he bends. If I need him to push, he pushes. And so he's like the yin to the yang. So it creates that smoothness, right? Like it creates that smoothness. And so I think, like, if him and I were to ever have that, I think there'd be a lot of fireworks there, because I think we when I push, he pushes, when I pull, he pulls. So I think that we have this kind of runner chaser, like dynamic. Yeah. And so I think that if there was an opportunity, would I take it? Yeah, you betcha, because that's what everything inside of me is saying. But do I believe that it would work? No, I believe it would probably be a hell of a lesson that I need to learn. Am I right or wrong? I don't know. I can't answer that. I can't. But yeah.
Do you believe in pre-birth experiences?
Yeah, I do. Actually, it's funny that you say that. My husband actually remembers being born. He remembers being born. So we talk about that, because
he remembers coming out?
Yeah, he remembers being born. He remembers not being here, being in somewhere different, and he says floating, for lack of a better word, because he doesn't know what to call it. He remembers floating, and then he remembers just coming out and seeing light, and he was here, and he wasn't here before.
Well, that's fantastic that your husband is having some of these experiences so he can relate to you on some level.
Right.
And not just go, I don't know what you're going through here.
one of the very first Reiki session that I had, the Reiki that eventually passed me on and said, you are so far gone, like I can't, like I don't have the skills for you. She said that he was a gift to me. She said that he was a gift to me, that and that he was to help me through that. Like, he's supposed to be here because he's to help me through this process.
So where have you left it with this guy you've known?
I mean, basically, we have, he basically just disappears, and he'll pop his head back up every now and then. And, I just kind of.
So there is a relationship still ongoing. It's just
no,
very hit or miss.
not necessarily. It's more like it's more like a checking in. It's more like a just checking in, and I don't know. It's almost like oh yeah, just making sure you're still there. Like because ultimately at the end of the day,
Has he ever confessed his feelings for you, similar to the ones you have for him?
Yes and no. Yes and no. Number one, he's younger. Number two, he's a little bit more emotionally immature. These things are hard to talk about. And when he has started to open up, he shut it down real fast. It's more like I can read the behaviors.
But there's clearly a connection on his part too.
Yes, there's clearly been a connection. I don't know where it's going to head. For me, whatever it looks like, like you mentioned before, the feelings are bigger than just here. And so whatever restrictions or whatever, I don't know what the walls, I guess, are imposed in this world, like, I'll accept that. I'll take that because it's bigger than, for me, it's bigger than here. It's bigger than now. It's bigger than, so whatever those restrictions, those walls, those boundaries need to be, I've gone through a process. I've gone through an awakening. I have an understanding. That's where my journey's taking me. This, I don't know. The things I do know, it's what I know up until that point. And then when things got cut off, they got cut off. So, I've made some mistakes. I've done some things along the way. I had that compelling, as you said, but now I kind of understand what's happening. I kind of know, like, it's bigger than anything I ever fathomed. It's bigger than anything I ever imagined. And
yeah, you're going on a journey that not many people get to go on. So there is no game plan, game book for this.
No, there's not. No, and
you're figuring it out for the rest of us.
Yeah,
and it's temporary because no matter what happens in 100 years from now, you might be replaying this a whole nother way.
Well, and that's it. And like I talk about, like, karma and karmic journeys and everything. I've got mine. I don't know what his is. His karmic journey, one of the things that's been said to me is that when you have to go through a journey like this and it's not going to end up in a way that fits our world, then, you're given like a soulmate. You're given somebody to help you through that. What I feel is bigger than here and now. And
this is like a love throughout the ages, yet this is not going to be a fairy tale ending.
No, I don't believe so.
Yeah, it's not going to be wrapped up.
I don't believe so, because the fairy tale, it's that's your 30-minute sitcom. It's real simple. And whatever it is I'm dealing with, whatever it is I believe we're dealing with, it doesn't just fit here. It doesn't fit now. It doesn't just fit here. It has a bigger...
I think the hero of this story, though, is obviously your husband.
I believe that 200%. I thank God for him every day, because had I been with a lesser person, this story would be different. When that lady said he's your gift, like, I fully see that. I fully believe that. I fully see that, because he's never doubted me. He's never considered that I was crazy. When we went to go see the shamans, that it's expensive. It costs money. They offer a service. And he said to me, if you were sick and you had cancer, we'd find a way to pay for it and we'd figure it out. He said, your soul is sick and insurance doesn't cover soul doctors. So we're going to get you a soul doctor and we're going to figure this out. And he's just been on the journey, ride or die, like has never and over the course of the years, he's seen like the things that I've known and the things that have happened. Like he saw it, before all of this. It's come to kind of a heightened level now. But he's been there all along to hear me say, oh yeah, such and such is going to happen. And then it did. So, he kind of had a little bit of a background into it.
That's huge.
But,
I mean, at least it's not all out of the blue, and he's been there for the whole entire journey.
Yeah, so he's really been, I agree. Like when she said he was like my gift, I mean, I believe that. I believe that. Like that yin and yang, that smooth curve, that's kind of where he fits. He's
been your anchor to this reality. I mean, for sure. And that's that. My hat's off to that man. On
both sides. I mean, I've had, when we've gone to psychics and stuff, they've said that his energy comes to me and encompasses me. They said that his energy comes out and encompasses me. So, like, not just here, but there as well.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So,
but let's get back to your book, because that's why everybody's here. Do you? I know it's a book about poems, but do you kind of write your story in this book?
Yeah, so basically, that's kind of what the poems do. So the poems kind of chronicle my journey, like my mental journey, my psychological journey from what happened in the beginning where I had no bloody clue. You might as well have thrown me off a cliff. Like and when you read some of my poems, you see that, I've got a poem that talks about a windshield cracking, and how I am the windshield that's obliterated and how the crack just spreads and spreads. And, I've got another poem where, it talks about one day at a time, but yet I stay behind. Well, so it kind of chronicles my journey from the psychological loss from losing my mind to,
Wow, that's fantastic.
To kind of beginning to heal, but I don't believe there's any such a thing as healed. I don't believe that anymore. I don't believe I don't believe you're healed. I don't believe that. So, I believe that you're just always in some phase, some process of moving towards something bigger.
And you were guided with these poems. Were you guided with what order the poems go into the book?
Yeah, kind of, yes and no. That order really came from just knowing how I lived it. That order really came from, I remember I wrote these poems during this phase. I remember I wrote these poems during this phase.
So you do have behind the scenes, like I was going through this in my life, and these are the poems.
Yeah, so it's more like, the order of the poems, just kind of knowing the order they came in, like what I was going through, where I psychologically, where the dark places were, where the coming out was, where the...
Gotcha. And where can people find this book at, Stephanie?
Okay, so right now it's available on Bookleaf Publishing's website, but it's on Amazon and Kindle, and it's a past life bleed through, a collection of poems chronicling my journey. And it's just about remembering a past life and how it plays into this one. And, people think these things are really cool, right? You think a spiritual awakening is really cool. You think, like meeting what some people would call your twin flame is really cool. It is not pretty, and you
definitely have a different take on it from other people sharing their journey. So I think people are really going to be tuned in and really interested in your journey because it's different. And maybe I'm sure other people are going through it too.
It destroyed me. It destroyed me, and I had to build back up.
Maybe that's why you're compelled to write this, so other people can.
Yeah. Maybe that was my purpose in this whole thing. Maybe that was my journey, was that I was supposed to share my story. And, if my story helps one other person find their way, or helps one other person feel sane, or, helps one other person seek help, not commit suicide, maybe that's my job in this whole thing. It's been hell, though. It's been hell, and I sit here and I talk about it now from hindsight, but when you're living it, it's just like being on a firing line. It's like being on a firing line, and you just have no idea what's going to be thrown at you next, what's going to be shoved at you next, what's going to be, pushed in you don't know. Like you're just standing there on the edge of a cliff wondering, do I jump? Do I jump? Do I duck? What do I do?
Yeah. These are all major decisions that you really have no guidance for, and you're just kind of figuring out for yourself as each step you take.
Yeah.
But, thank you so much for coming on the podcast and sharing your journey with everybody. And we all can't wait to get this book. I mean, I'm fascinated. I've never been into poetry, but I'm into your book for sure. This is going to be one hell of a read for everybody.
Yeah, they're not mine. They're not mine. They were given to me, so I mean, they were shared with me from up above.
Well, please come back on and share with us when your second book comes out. But thank you so much for joining us today, Stephanie.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Thanks for watching the show today, folks. And if you enjoyed it, please like, comment, and share. And like always, stay rad.